Ahoy, ready crew. This is Captain Eric, just giving you a quick update for those who may have missed our important update for the podcast. July 1st, 2020, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Mixer. We are going to be debuting the first episode of our sister show, Video Bob Game Pants. If this is the first time you're ever hearing about this, what is the show? Well, Video Bob Game Pants is going to be chronicling every single SpongeBob game that I can get my hands on. Obviously, there's some outliers out there, but we're going to be streaming episodes almost monthly of different video games. And of course, the first video game SpongeBob ever appeared in is Nicktoons Racing. So on July 1st, me and some guests are going to be playing through all three versions of Nicktoons Racing. We're going to try to get the fourth, the arcade version, in-house, but that's not a promise at this point. So we have some surprises. We'll have some fun. I would love to see as many of you as you can to come out. We can talk about the show. We can talk about what you're currently listening to, other podcasts. I would like to be a big event for the Ready crew. So July 1st, 2020, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Mixer. Search SpongePod Squarecast and follow us because I go up randomly with playing games like Maneater and, of course, Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated. I'm going to play right when it releases on June 23rd. So follow us on Mixer and enjoy the show. Magic Conj, will I ever get to meet Tom Kenny?
Maybe someday.
Oh, so you're saying there's a chance. Okay. Should I tell fans of the show how they can support us?
Yes.
Goofy Goobers, supporting the show is shockingly easier than catching a blue jellyfish. Right from our Anchor page, anchor.fm/SpongePod, you can find links to all of our social media and a support button if you happen to have a few extra clams. Also follow us on mixer.com/SpongePod Squarecast, where it's not only the official home to our sister show, Video Bob Game Pants, it's also where I stream live drawings of various Nickelodeon characters and host the opportunity for commissions and giveaways. Lastly, the official merchandise store is now open at redbubble.com/people/SpongePod, where various designs will be uploaded inspired by our show, including our official logo, which is now available on a multitude of products like t-shirts, stickers, duvet covers, and even a shower curtain. This is a podcast by a fan, for fans, and will always be fan-driven. Any way you see fit on supporting our show is much appreciated. Thank you, and enjoy. Ahoy, mateys, and welcome to another episode of I'm Ready, a SpongePod Squarecast. My name is Captain Eric, captain of the Ready crew. All of you out there listening, I love all of you. Thank you for all of the support, all of the wonderful messages. I am excited, super excited. I'm always excited to record this show, but I am super excited after getting all of that information off of my chest because, man, it's just, for me, I think a lot about this show. It means the world to me, and I've had information like that brewing for so long. I mean, even something like our upcoming live stream on July 1st, 2020, Video Bob Game Pants, mixer.com/SpongePod Squarecast. I had that at the inception of the show. I thought about that being like a sister option, a reason to play all the SpongeBob video games, and the fact that it's upcoming, maybe for some people it's easy for them to come up with something and do it the next day. I am very methodical in the things I make. And I mean, going back to when I first started SpongePod Squarecast, I told people that I had the idea for this show for years, but I didn't hit the grindstone. I was so concerned about what it would come off like, and man, is it going to be a flop? And, you know, the biggest piece of advice I can give to aspiring content creators out there, people who want to start a YouTube show, people who want to start a podcast, and they see other successful shows. Look at Joe Rogan, who just signed an incredible deal with Spotify. Go back to the Joe Rogan experience from episode 1, episode 2, his early stuff, and then look at it now. That's evolution. And the only way you get to where he is now is you got to start at episode 1. Yes, you do want to put your best foot forward, but as long as you are consistent, the late great Macho Man Randy Savage has a saying: the cream rises to the top. And as long as you are good and consistent, you will get to that moment where the show becomes what you always wanted it to be. But you have to start somewhere. Don't be afraid to get up, scream at the top of your lungs that say I'm ready, and go after your goals. I could be a motivational speaker, I think, if I really tried. At the time of this recording, I do want to address there have been a lot of unrest and some issues in our country, and it is certainly heartbreaking. For me, I'm not going to get into specifics or opinions. I think what I will say will speak for itself. But what's shocking to me is you would think at this point, you would feel desensitized to some of the issues that happen until the next thing happens, and every time I just go, I'm just bewildered. I'm almost speechless, and even on my own personal social medias, I haven't said much. But I think this quote from also the late great Martin Luther King Jr. Is so powerful, and it just covers everything that I feel, and I think it covers everything that anyone dealing with unrest or outrage about this. I think this is a message that speaks for everybody. And the quote is this: injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. When I read that, and I've read that over time, but anytime it comes up, it's a super powerful message. It's one of those things that you could write an entire book almost off of that premise. And that's where we've had certain people that have lived before us, these very intelligent human beings who have had the most beautiful sentences and anecdotes to say, and that's one of my favorites. But especially during this time, it's scary. It's a scary time. But that's why fans of, I don't want to just say fans of SpongeBob, but for someone like me personally, this is where I kind of look to SpongeBob and other things, because when you look outside and you look at what's going on in the world, there's certainly things that we can all do as a community, but on those moments where it's like 11 o'clock at night, there really isn't nothing you can do at that point, and you go offline, you shut everything down for a second, and it's just you and yourself and your thoughts. I could watch an episode of SpongeBob, and in that 11 minutes, 12 minutes, I feel okay. For me personally, it doesn't work for everybody, and everybody is going to have a different vice or a different thing they're into that they do to escape for that moment. And when you come back out, and it's not, yes, entertainment and nostalgia, it's an escape, but to me, when I feel that optimism that everything is going to be okay, I feel better moving forward and doing what I can as a person to make sure that the people around me and the people I care about are also okay. And that's, like I said, it's been I'm usually have a lot to say. I'm a very the words just escape me, and thank goodness for Martin Luther King Jr. for that statement, because if I had to make a statement like that on my own, I don't know if I could. I probably could. I don't know what I'm saying, but I just want anyone out there to know who's listening to this, especially coming off of Mental Health Awareness Month, talk to people, talk to your friends, talk to your family, be open, let them know how you're feeling, and just don't ever hold anything in. That's the best piece of advice I can give. I have dealt my whole life with depression and dealt with anxiety without even knowing there was a word to associate with. Just having just the way my mind would race alone some nights. Uh, and the best medicine in the world for me has always been just being able to talk to people. And even if you go from 4 friends telling the same story of how you're feeling, and you get each and every one of their opinions, or their nice things to say, compliments, each one, you feel better and you feel better and you feel better and you feel okay to move on and move forward. And that's what I've been doing. So please, by all means, if you are feeling super down and you have no one to speak to, reach out to me. I will talk to you. I have no problem with that whatsoever. I'm here for you, just as I would hope you guys, people who enjoy the content I'm putting out, are here for me as well. Please, this is not going, like I've said this before, this is not a podcast that's just going to be me giving up. Oh, well, I only have X amount of people listening. It's not enough for me to continue. I enjoy this for myself, and that's kind of an important thing. Back to you fledgling content creators out there. You have to enjoy it yourself before other people are going to enjoy it. Don't do something just for money or just to try to make it big. Like, you got to want to love to do something for years, even if 10 people are only listening or watching you. But this is all over the place. Anywho, on to the episode. Today we are watching Nature Pants, which is such a pivotal episode of SpongeBob's first season in this day and age of memes, because there's one scene in this episode that has made 2 different memes that are still popular. They've been around for like 2 years now, it feels, and they're still getting here and there some good use out of the meme community. And it's just it's incredible that like the same exact scene, like 5 seconds apart, you have two memes. I think SpongeBob is the king of meme content, because so many episodes have had still shots have become massive memes, and it's great to see Nickelodeon embrace that. They've made toys. There are collectibles, SpongeBob collectibles, that are based off of the memes. And some people might see that as like cashing in on it. I know that when companies try to lean onto memes to advertise, it feels dirty. It's like that's not what they're made for. But SpongeBob, let them do it. Let them make the toys. Let them make their figures. To me, it's not cringy at all that they want to celebrate SpongeBob. I love it. But this is an episode where SpongeBob gets the feeling that he wants to leave his current world, and he wants to be completely encapsulated as a wild animal. He wants to live among jellyfish, which is so weird after having the episode that we had, Jellyfish Jam. You would think that SpongeBob would, want to stay away from giant crowds of jellyfish, and nope. But he gets that bite and wants to be a part of it. So we are going to watch Nature Pants together. I don't know why I had a brain fart there for a second. This episode came out September 11th, 1999. It is the first episode it's the first part of the 9th episode. It was written by Paul Tibbitt, Mark O'Hare, and Peter Burns. The storyboard artist was Mark O'Hare. Paul Tibbitt was the storyboard. The animation was Sean Dempsey, and of course our creative director, Derek Dryman. This, other than it's a meme relation, this really isn't a super important episode in the lore of SpongeBob. We don't really have any massive debuts in this episode, but it just kind of shows how caring SpongeBob's friends are. When he just up and leaves, everybody does kind of get a little concerned for him, and especially at the end when they welcome back with open arms. It's a wonderful feeling. So we'll start this episode. Of course, you can follow us along from the complete first season. As usual, we will be watching this on Amazon Prime. But if you also have I believe the DVD SpongeBob Goes Prehistoric, if you have the VHS for Hall Monitor, or if you have the first 100 episodes, by all means, follow along. And we will be back right after this.
2,000 years later.
Welcome back to the show. I got nature pants ready to go. I didn't plan that at all. That was literally off the top of my head. That is a nice little rep for the Ready crew out there. Anyway, if you are going to join us, by all means, have your episode ready at the beginning of the title card. We skip the intro for some reason on this show. I get that question actually a lot from some of you members of the Ready crew. We've never heard you sing the theme song. It will happen one day on this show. When I get the right musical guest, we'll do a debut of a duet. We'll have a debut of the duet of the theme song. So don't you worry, it'll eventually happen. But anyway, we're gonna start this episode right now. Here we are, Nature Pants. We'll get some of that music out there so you can hear it and know that you're following along. I believe right at the beginning of this episode, SpongeBob is having a daydream while cooking patties. There we are. Look at all that steam. Look at the Krabby Patties going. Man, wouldn't you like to try one of those? I don't know. It's fish food. I would try a Krabby Patty for the glory of it. You know, it's a Krabby Patty, but I don't think it would be good for humans. I know Burger Beard was making it in the second SpongeBob movie, Sponge Out of Water, but you know, he could have changed the recipe a little bit for humans, you know, because I don't think they have beef underwater. So what's the meat? Here's SpongeBob just daydreaming that he's turning into a jellyfish. I think for me this would make a little bit more sense if in early episodes when jellyfish were around, he made it a point to say, you know, like just little tidbits, because then this would make some sense. The fact that he throws the fire extinguisher. I hope all of you out there know how to use a fire extinguisher. If there's any children out there who don't know how to use one, by all means, you should ask your parents to at least show you what you could do with a fire extinguisher. You know, they sell them at like little ones at Home Depot, or I believe they have them at like Walmart or Target, mini ones. It's a good thing to have just in case there's a fire. And of course, the entire moral of this story is the grass is not always greener on the other side of the fence. For those who have, I'm sure any adults have heard that sentiment, but you know, for those that haven't, it's literally like when you think a life or having something would be better than what you already have, sometimes you should appreciate what you have and not dwell on what you don't, because sometimes when you get that other thing, it might not be as great as you think it is. In certain cases, that doesn't work, because sometimes it's pretty obvious when you want to, you know, have something new or be a part of something. But in other cases, I've had friends and family and even myself think that the grass is greener on the other side. And when you're over there, sometimes you don't get the chance to go back. Like, you know what? I wish I had the other stuff. And then, sorry, you don't. This episode does mark the debut of something important. All Reliable. The SpongeBob's treasured jellyfishing net. I love that he gives a can opener to Squidward as if Squidward oh wait, no, hold on. I was about to say Squidward doesn't use cans, but he loves canned bread, so maybe it's super appropriate that he gives Squidward the can opener. I love that he gives him the phone books, but he's giving Patrick All Reliable. It's really weird that SpongeBob's giving away his stuff. He owns a lot more than what he's giving out. I always forget that in the early episodes, SpongeBob, Sandy didn't have her tail animated on the outside of her suit, which I think is one of the better changes of a character design wise that we've seen. Um, a lot of people prefer the season 1 look of SpongeBob and his friends compared to future seasons. I really think season 2 and 3 have the absolute best designs. Because Patrick's eyebrows I've never been a fan of in season 1, and even at some points of season 2 they're still like they look like that. I love their future look of just like the bold Z's as eyebrows. Here's SpongeBob completely naked out in jellyfish fields. I love the jokes of blocking his lower regions, as if he has anything down there. It's just funny when they put in that little extra effort to try to hide something even though it's not there. And it's amazing how close to jellyfish they are to bees. The buzzing, the fact that they live in a hive like that. I don't think there's anybody out there, like, we've talked about this before, like, what is the real world equivalent to jellyfishing? I mean, in a way, it is fishing. You can fish with a net. We talked about this with Jordan on a previous episode, my friend Jordan. But as far as bugs, like what you would collect, what you would actually go out with a net and try to get, I don't think there's anybody out there who catches bees, which, bees are the equivalent to jellyfish in their world. So I don't know. SpongeBob trying to live among the jellyfish it's just a funny idea. Sandy knows what she's doing over here, trying to woo SpongeBob back. I mean, the fact that Sandy and Squidward were so sure he was going to come back on his own anyway, I don't think they should have tried interrupting his process. Because although the smell of the Krabby Patties and what Patrick has to say, I imagine, does help, I think SpongeBob, give him a day or two, he would have been back anyway without this stuff. One thing I forgot to mention at the beginning, this is one of those episodes that the grill, they decided to put the grill of the Krusty Krab at Squidward's party here. They tried to put the grill of the Krusty Krab on the other wall. They do this, one of the most notable times they do this this movement of cookingware is in Your Shoes Untied, when SpongeBob forgets how to tie his shoes, and when he has to shuffle to bring Squidward the Krabby Patty. The grill is on the other side of the wall. So, of course, they change the side of the grill when it suits them. I wonder if it's just Mr. Krabs waking up one morning going, I think the grill should be on this end. There's things like that I think about. Now, Patrick choosing to attack SpongeBob or catch him and put him in a jar. It's such a funny concept. This is the reason why they probably made the episode. I can't. This is the funny part. Not SpongeBob trying to live in the wild with the jellyfish. That's funny, but not as funny as this. I also love the fact that we got to see another snail, and a wild snail at that. And it's a massive one, too. Snails are, they're cats, basically, in the sea. So a big snail like that, I wonder if it's just going out in the wild and finding a bobcat. And here we are. We have there we go. One iconic scene of SpongeBob breathing very heavy behind the rock, and then looking up. Second iconic scene right there of Patrick hanging at the top. And I would have to look up the origins of those memes, but I don't think they happened at the same time. I don't think someone put those two together. Maybe they did. But when I first saw them, I saw the Patrick one first in a couple memes, and then it was like 2 weeks later I started seeing the SpongeBob one. SpongeBob actually going into this is one of my favorite quotes in the whole episode coming up. SpongeBob's in the jellyfish hive. He eats a little bit of jelly here, and it's what he says when the jellyfish come home. My jellyfish brethren are returning. That I don't care how old you are. That is funny. There's not a lot of physical classic humor on SpongeBob like that, but that is perfect to me. That is absolutely 100%. I love it. It's just that's humorous, no matter how old you are. And if you don't like SpongeBob, SpongeBob meme history. I want to find this out because this is an important episode. We got to know this information. Trying to, I don't know if anybody has tried to sleep outside without a tent, with like no blanket, just on the cold ground. It stinks. Not that I've ever tried it on purpose, but here we go. We're got some memes here. Of course, we got Chicken SpongeBob, Tired SpongeBob, and then Savage Patrick. Vox doesn't have a good timeline. Vox's page that I just found out was just the story SpongeBob Tired meme history. There we go. Know your meme. That's a reliable website for this. Notably, the frame comes only a few seconds before the image that was used in the Savage Patrick meme on March 22nd, 2018. Uploaded a user on Twitter uploaded the first Tired SpongeBob that started going around, and then let's see. So that was March 22nd. Let's see, Savage Patrick. When was that? February 26th. All right, so February. So yeah, Patrick was first, and then SpongeBob came a month later. Here we go. Welcome home, SpongeBob. It's great to see that Squidward was able to come out as well and help celebrate with this. They have some Krabby Patties. They decorated his house. He's still naked. Putting on his hat is absolutely more important than putting on his pants. But then, of course, there we go. Squidward having his pants. And, of course, he's got all the itchies. And everybody starts getting itchy. Nice little group hug. I think this is the first moment that our core 5 characters have been right there with each other. And I love that still frame. For those that don't know, I've mentioned it before, but this first season of SpongeBob, and that was the end of the episode, the first season of SpongeBob is the only season that was done traditional animation with cells and whatnot. I would love to own that cell of all the characters hugging there. That has to be one of the harder to find, probably rarer pieces of the whole SpongeBob art scene, which I've gone down that rabbit hole a few times, and it can get pretty expensive. There's certain shows that were traditionally animated for a long period of time. So it's very easy to get cell animation from those shows. SpongeBob, it's that first season. So for collectors, that's a big deal. I don't own one of those yet, but at some point in my life, I'll own a cell of animation from SpongeBob. So yeah, that was Nature Pants. Not an important episode by all means, but not an important episode in the world of SpongeBob. An important episode in our world for the memes that it got from. But also, it's just a funny episode. From beginning to end, it's just humorous. It shows people who daydream and just go off and do what they want. I absolutely love it. It's one of my favorites of season 1. I don't know if it's number 1, but it would be in my top 10. Just because of just how funny it is from beginning to end. So many jokes, visual jokes, spoken jokes. It's just to me it's great. It's one of those episodes that if someone didn't know SpongeBob, I would show him I would show him Nature Pants. It would be like, hey, here's a bunch of episodes you should watch. Nature Pants would be one of them. So that's it. That's it for this episode of the show. Please, if you're listening to this before July 1st, join us July 1st, 2020, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Mixer. Mixer.com/SpongePodSquareCast, or just search for us. By all means, go and find the page before then. Follow us on Mixer. And share episodes of the show. Share the information about the stream to wherever you can. Obviously, I don't, your friends on Facebook, maybe they don't care for SpongeBob, but if you're a part of a SpongeBob fan page or a meme group, or part of a SpongeBob Discord, by all means, share that this show exists. Let's grow this together. I love all of the Ready crew, and join me next time for another episode of SpongeBob. Have a good night, everyone. Stay safe out there.